Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to another premiere draft of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. We've got a really good pack here. Several cards I would highly recommend, primarily Earthbender Ascension here, 3 mana to Earthbend 2 and Rampant Growth. You search your library for a basic, put into play tapped, then shuffle. So at worst, 3 mana for a 2/2 and a land into play tapped. Really, really great ramp and mana fixing. And at best, this is going to get the 4 quest counters it needs as you play lands to then start putting +1/+1 counters on your creatures and giving them trample till end of turns. This is a really, really good card. Love me an Earthbender Ascension. There's also a very premium uncommon here. Aang, the Last Airbender, is one of the strongest uncommons in the whole set. 4 mana for a 3/2 flyer and that Airbend on any permanent. Really good tempo play to slow your opponent down, or you can flicker your own card. You also give this lifelink whenever you cast a lesson. There's tons of lessons. There's also a lightning strike for great removal, and a very cool card from the bonus sheet there. The Treetop Village is a land that can turn into a creature when you're flooding out. So that was a pack with a lot of very fun options, but I do think the Earthbender Ascension rare there, the strongest of those options. Avatar Destiny is really not a card I'm particularly into, as it's a 4 mana aura. Most auras are not cards I'm super into, as they can get 2-for-1 really hard. This helps prevent that a little bit, because when your creature gets blown up, you get to get that death trigger. The problem is, if your creature gets exiled, you get 2-for-1 hard. If your creature gets bounced, you get 2-for-1 hard. If your creature gets airbended, you get 2-for-1 hard. If your creature gets removed at instant speed, even if it's destroyed, in response to you trying to put Avatar Destiny on it, you get 2-for-1 hard. So I still don't like this card very much. Instead, we could take Haru Hidden Talent here, which is fine for an Earthbending deck with a lot of allies, or a Rock-a-Lanche could be a very strong reason to be very deep into green, if not mono green, and also play well with Earthbending. I'm going to go for the Rock-a-Lanche there. Pick 3, Rebellious Captives is really nice, filling out your mana curve at multiple slots. It's your 2-drop creature on curve that has a good mana sink at 6 mana to get a lot more power on the board. So Captives is good for a green deck. This is a pack, though, where the difference in card quality between the green spell and the off-color stuff is high enough that I would be perfectly happy speculating here. Moving towards Sokka's Haiku for blue, or Path to Redemption for white. But I like trying to lock in on green if it works out when we've got the Rock-a-Lanche. Pick 4, Seismic Sense is the best green card. We can go off color to go a little bit higher in card quality again here for Forecasting Fortune Teller, Deadly Precision, or Fire Nation Attacks. All of these are really solid role fillers in the right strategy. Precision just for good removal. Fortune Teller is just a great 2-drop on curve. 2 permanents for your Waterbending cards. You can tap both of these to help pay for those. And a lot of the blue decks care about drawing 2 cards in one turn, so the clues help with that as well. So Fortune Teller has been really nice. And then Fire Nation Attacks is a great way to dump all of your Firebending mana into spitting more creatures on the board. But I'm still just real deep on green, real deep on Earthbending stuff. Grab a Seismic Sense. Pick number 5. Sparring Dummy. I feel really sad about this, because the Green Seeker Dryad was 1 and a green for 1/3. You could tap it to look at the top card of your library. If it was a land, you put it in your hand. That card was excellent, and I have fond memories of that card. But that card was also from a set like 10 years ago when it was good. And sets are just more aggressive and more powerful now, where the Sparring Dummy really just feels too slow. So at this point, I'll just take the best off-color monocolored card and take Fortune Teller over Sparring Dummy there. Pick number 6, North Pole Patrol and Watery Grasp are some of the best cards in the pack, and they match color to our Fortune Teller, so I'm pretty fine with that here. Grab the Watery Grasp here. This plays a lot better than most of these, like keep a creature tapped removal spells, because you can shuffle it back, not just for 5, but for 5 with Waterbending. So if you're in even the slightest board stall where you're holding up like 2 blockers, you get to reduce that cost to like shuffling it back in for 3 mana at your opponent's end step after holding up those blockers. So I do think Watery Grasp is great, as is It'll Quench Ya. Quench has played super good in the set just because of the insane amount of incredible bomb rares, so I'm happy to take that. Digging deeper into blue, we're not seeing particularly powerful green spells get passed around, but the origin of Metal Bending's not that bad, so it's not like green looks completely cut yet, but it's not looking excellent for the color, I will say. Pick 8 really doesn't have much going on. I like Yip Yip as a combat trick in white, but it's not really worth speculating on. Kyoshi Battle Fan is reasonable just as a card that no matter what happens, we can shove in our deck as filler. But these blue creatures are not the most exciting. If I had to pick one, I'd go for the Giant Koi as a finisher, but I'll keep it flexible and take a Battle Fan there. Pick 9 Dragonfly Swarm. Reasonably good sign for blue-red lessons. And green and blue also have some cards that care about lessons, so we could end up playing all 3 of these colors, going like green, blue, red lessons with enough fixing. And we did start with a mana fixing rare, Earthbender Ascension. And this draft does really show off the kind of downside of starting so deep into one color. It's a very simple way to draft. It's a way that I like drafting quite a bit because you can get really deep into one color and then pick whatever the most open color is as your secondary. The problem is if you draft the least open color starting off, if you like take 5 green cards in a row and then like nothing good in green gets passed, then you're like, well, shoot. Because now I might be in a position where I have to pivot to blue as the core color, which is fine because blue looks super open. But then just like cut every green card we've drafted. Oh yeah, blue's insanely open. Watery Grasp and Forecasting Fortune Teller are some of the best blue commons. I don't even know which one we pick because they're both great. I'll take the Fortune Teller because I think Watery Grasp tends to go a little later. That's a little bit more of a sleeper hit than the Fortune Teller. But man, that was a great sign for blue. Sokka's Haiku with like 3 cards left in the pack into Forecasting Fortune Teller and Watery Grasp was the only 2 cards left. Super crazy. And then we opened up another excellent rare for blue-red lessons. Ranon Shaw is a 5-mana 4/4 flyer with Firebending 2, so it spits out 2 red mana during combat. But more importantly, when they enter, if there are 3 or more lessons in your graveyard, you get 2 4/4 flyers for 5 mana. Not only do you get 2 4/4 flyers for 5 mana, but they both have Firebending 2, so if you attack with both of them, that's the 4 mana you need to give them both +2/+0 till end of turn. Ridiculous with enough lessons in the deck, so we are going to be super interested in drafting cards with the lesson subtype incredibly highly here. Pack 2 pick 2 shows us 2 absolute banger black rares. We have Dragonfly Swarm and Ranon Shaw. Dragonfly Swarm was a pick 9. Ranon Shaw was a pick 1. Doesn't necessarily mean red is super open, just blue-red in particular as a color pair. But getting past this doesn't mean black is super open. It just means exactly this one player is not drafting black. But good lord, these rares are insane. Quench is the only card we are 100% going to play. But the card quality we get from playing one of these is so high. Raven Eagle is at least maybe more splashable, but Fire Nation Drill is stronger up front. Take the Raven Eagle here. Pick number 3. Now I'll take another Quench. I will not be taking a Cat Gator, because that's a very committal pick. You got to be very deep into black for that one. We could take Deadly Precision, but I really want some lessons to go with Ranon Shaw if red ends up being open enough, but these red cards are not the kind of red cards you want in blue-red lessons. Maybe Porcupine, but that's still going to be a little mediocre and slow. I could see Aang's Journey actually being reasonable fixing for this deck to splash in the Raven Eagle. Just because it's also a lesson in our graveyard, but I'm going, it'll quench you there. Another Dragonfly Swarm, we know that color pair is decently open. I'm really tempted to take Firebending lesson, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's going to be like 3 cards left in this pack. Even if no one else is playing blue-red, somebody's just going to hate draft Dragonfly Swarm rather than it wheeling. Because it's going to be at the point where there's like a Swamp Hunters, a Cat Owl, a Dragonfly Swarm, and like a Villagers. And they'll just be like, all right, whatever, I'll hate draft Swarm. So we're not getting the Swarm back. We're definitely not getting Firebending lesson back either, though, which makes me really sad. But I'm going to take the Swarm. Okay, you get a Firebending lesson here. That makes me really happy. There's a lot of rares in this set. They are all strong. Aang's Journey on this one. Blue-red dual land looks good. Lightning Strike also looks good. I just don't like that it's not a lesson. But still, cheap removal. Still pretty important. We really don't have a bunch. We have one Firebending lesson and one Watery Grasp for anything that gets past our quenches. As much as I love that lesson card type, I'll go Lightning Strike here. Another Lightning Strike or Forecasting Fortune Teller. Actually pretty close. Fortune Teller is basically like the perfect 2-drop. Just a roadblock to slow down our opponent, and it's really good with our quenches. So we get to crack the clue if we don't end up quenching anything. I'm gonna actually go for a third Fortune Teller here. Just feels absolutely perfect. Grab a Koi, grab the third quench. Perfect with the 3 Fortune Tellers. Here's another Serpent as our finisher. After dumping a bunch of quenches in the grave. Huh? Well, this is the right archetype to be in. That's what we call a pivot. Mono green and some blue-red lessons, and good lord, did we find the open lane? What on earth was that? Teo's pretty good with double Dragonfly Swarm. Agnakella's also very good, though. It plays super well with the quenches. Make sure we don't flood out just off of a land alone. Man, yeah, I'm going to take Agnakella here. And my apologies if I'm pronouncing this stuff wrong. I have never watched the show. I will try to watch it at some point, but I got a lot of other stuff on my watch list and not a lot of time to watch things. Pack 3, pick 2, another Dragonfly Swarm. The way the draft has gone, this should almost definitely wheel. But the hidden power level of taking like an octopus form over it, I think is enough of a hit to just make sure we get this. Right? Like our worst case scenario, if octopus form doesn't wheel, is that we could get like a third serpent, which is fine with how heavy we're going to be on instant sorceries. Yeah, I'm going to take Dragonfly Swarm. The worst case scenario of not wheeling Dragonfly Swarm is really depressing. And we just get an octopus form this pack anyway, which I'll definitely take. We need more lessons, ideally. We are currently on 22 non-land cards. So it's going to take 2 more picks before we get to start cutting stuff. First time flyer's fine here. If we wheel the Teo, it'll be really nice as well. Certainly not deep enough on red to play Solstice Revelations. And I think even if you're almost... Unless you're literally mono red, I'm not a big fan of this card. And even if you are mono red, it still feels very cascadey, discovery, very randomly oriented, which I guess is the point, but does make it a little less appealing. Invasion Submersible's a banger. One of the best tempo plays in the set. Because you can exhaust this off of Waterbending, it's just so easy to activate. And we have kind of the Wombo combo that makes this super, super efficient, which is turn 2 Fortune Teller, turn 3 Submersible. Then we can tap out for Submersible and immediately have 3 untapped permanents to Waterbend it. We have the Fortune Teller, the Clue Token, and the Submersible itself paying its exhaust ability. Another Sokka's Haiku looks good. Waterbending lesson looks good too. Helps us dig for our great rares and our big Dragonfly Swarms to finish the game. I don't know, I feel like I've got a lot of good ways to have other things to do with my mana while holding up counters, so I'm going to go for the Haiku. This could be wrong, but like I've got Clue Tokens, I've got Agnakella. I think I'm a pretty good deck at holding up counter spells. And it works out fine because we can get a Waterbending lesson out of this pack. Although this would not be a terrible Fire Nation Cadets deck. It wouldn't be a great one because most of the instants I want to play are going to be during my opponent's turn anyway, where that extra mana from the Firebending doesn't help too much, but it still wouldn't be terrible. I'm just take the Waterbending lesson though. Another Quench, let's go. Lost Days is good too. Lost Days is real good, but I really feel like this is the perfect just all quench deck. We'll even name the deck after quench. We wield the Teo. Boomy Bash wouldn't have been bad there either. We wield the octopus form. I think second octopus form probably more appealing than a third serpent, but the thing is, all of my quenches can also do the same thing as octopus form. Protecting my stuff from removal potentially. Yeah, maybe I actually do third serpent here. I am not going to play the Raven Eagle actually. I think I have enough power in the main deck just through raw synergy, turning these dragonfly swarms into nearly bombs, basically. Last picked that waterbending lesson anyway. So haiku over waterbending lesson was, I guess, in hindsight, 100% correct. But the thing because of the way this draft went and because of that wheel, I feel like if I took waterbending lesson instead of haiku, I would have just wheeled the haiku. So, like, either way, it really feels like it would have been perfectly fine. This deck looks super fun and super strong. I don't hate cutting at least one land. I don't think we cut multiple lands, though. I kind of feel like I should have taken another octopus form over this serpent. I don't think I'm running 3 serpents. I have more efficient win conditions. I have these 4 are my like really good win cons. The 4 dragons here. I like that the Ran and Shaw also have synergy with the dragonfly swarms, where they will buff them with that 4-mana ability. Yeah, I mean, I have so many dragon win cons. I'm even just going to cut 2 serpents. And I can cut the 17th land, but I also have this flood prevention land. So it's like 16 lands in the spell land. That's really helpful. I'm going to go still 17 here. I think. Because I do have mana sinks to put mana into between clue tokens, the land mana sink, and some somewhat expensive draw spells and counter spells and stuff. Flood prevention with the draw and discard here. Flood prevention with this draw discard. This also can discard a card. I drop 1 waterbending lesson. Yeah, this looks very fun and very solid. Super pumped to see how this one plays out as we hop into the gameplay. All right, here we are for game 1 with this deck. We've got some interaction here to deal with their early stuff, which I think is pretty fine because most of our creatures, most of our win conditions, we don't really want to play until we've already got some lessons in the grave. Start off with our mountain for firebending lesson to be up. It's going to be a lot of damage throughout the game, but that does give them a clue back if I kill it. I'm just going to hold firebending lesson. Okay, drawing the second copy, I wouldn't have mind shooting that. Take 1. Water Tribe Rally, that's a better target. Okay. Playing against black-white, pretty aggressive archetype. A lot of good sack synergies, so they would be very happy to have the clue to sack, actually. 3 mana, 3/3 Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, untap each other artifact creature you control. 4 mana, tap, create a 5/5 Zeppelin thing. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. They get to resolve something this turn. Hopefully it's small enough to firebending lesson. But then we haiku next turn and hope the haiku draws into a creature finally. And there's the creature, but I can't play haiku with that. And I have 2 different 5 mana instants, so I'm definitely not running out Fortune Teller here. Callous Inspector MVP. Not a very good card to haiku, but could see it there. Okay, I can't hold up haiku either way if I cast something here. If I cast Dragonfly Swarm, I'm going to cast Fortune Teller. Fortune Teller is already big enough to stop Pox Bearers, which could draw removal from our opponent. I guess I could play both, but this way I can crack the Clue, and if I hit a Quench, I still have a Quench here. And I can also just like crack the Clue and play the Lesson here. Deserters, okay, can't quench that. Buff the Pox Bearers to get through the Fortune Teller. Fair enough. There's the Quench, but I can't Lesson and Quench, which means if they have the Azula Always Lies, they completely counter Firebending Lesson, which is really bad for me, so I'm not going to do it because they have some kind of instant here. We're going to hold for a moment. My god. Now I can play Dragonfly Swarm holding up Quench and Lesson. They can really afford the Quench now. Okay. Get rid of the Pox Bearers. Hey, bye. Too expensive for Quench. Gonna be really big here. Get the Clue. Probably crack the Clue. These are awkward. Counter, 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 and counter is the hand. So the resolved Heibai is going to kill me fast. Counter anything they play here on tapping a land for a Quench. They don't play anything. Man. Really don't want to have to chump with Dragonfly Swarm, but chumping with Dragonfly Swarm draws me another card. And I'm dead to removal. I mean, I've got the counter spells to probably not be dead to removal, but... Okay, pay for the ward. Okay, we can still afford a Quench. I can't double Quench and still have a Haiku up, but I can Haiku up and still have a Quench up. This Haiku autopay is the stupidest I've ever seen autopay be, honestly. It always wants to not tap the land you're trying to untap, which makes absolutely no sense. Oh my god. Big ol' bomb rare. Works really well with Heibai too. Oh no. Here's my Trumper. And I'll take 4. At this rate, I feel like the only chance is just getting insanely lucky off of a double attack with Dragonfly Swarm. So I'm just going to go for it. It's very unlikely, but I think it's our best bet. Deserters would be lethal if it resolves because of the +1/+1 counter onto one of these two. So I have to try to hope that last card is nothing. The last card is not nothing. Alright. They got me. Oh! It was one draw too late. Submersible would have won it. That would have been the 2 swings with the Swarm. Yeah. Dang. Alright. Not the right order of draws there, unfortunately. But it is what it is. 0-1 heading to game 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 2. Playing against the blue deck. True drops Water Tribe Rallier. I'll just quench that. Hope to draw anything that costs 3 or less. We draw land. Alright, Deserters is not a bad 3-drop at all. They got like a Watery Grasp for Arteo or something. This is a very good hand. Once we resolve the Haiku, that'll make sure that Ran and Shaw are 2 4/4 flyers for 5. And that gets rid of their removal for it, Earth Kingdom Jailer. Is not going to be here to kill Ran and Shaw. Down to 13. Here's the Watery Grasp on the Jailer, which I can then shuffle back to get the 1/4. And obviously if I don't, then I just play Haiku. Submersible, that's definitely getting Haiku'd. But they could have the Quench of their own here. They do not. Cool, we milled at least 1 lesson, so that's 3 engraved for Ran and Shaw. Well, I have the mana up to Waterbend this Jailer if I play Ran and Shaw. 1, 2, 3, 4, I need 5. So I have to Dragonfly Swarm if I want to Waterbend shuffle here, which I do want to do. Gather the White Lotus, 3 1/1s and scry 2. Fair enough. Alright, let's shuffle that back in and get our Teo back. Firebending Lesson's a great draw. There's not really a reason to pre-comment this because I won't have the 4 up for the ability anyway. Actually should have held on to that land, that was dumb of me. 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess it works out because now I just double spell these 2 with the 8 mana. Play this one first to play around Quench, and then this one. Okay, they scoop them up. Ridiculous dragons have hit the board. Dragonfly Swarm and the rare dragon, and that is 1/1 now heading to game 3. That's a beautiful opening hand. Being able to have the clue token out to go with the Quench is wonderful. Oh my god. Double Dragonfly Swarm. Rebellious Captives will get them started. They get through the Quench with that. Good start for opponent. Turn 4, play another Fortune Teller, hold up a Quench would be perfect if we can hit land 4. Get an Octopus Form, and get land 4. You love to see it. Pass through. I forgot to crack my clue. That's on me. Opponent is like really playing around the quenches here. Or they just have a real slow hand. Yeah, I got distracted. I was having allergy stuff. Wiping my nose. Could Could come back to bite us here if we have to quench this turn. Be hard to fit in that extra 2 to crack the clue later. Okay, we just literally never have to quench. Just draw all 3 dragonfly swarms? Why not? They don't do anything until we cast a quench, but they sure do look pretty. This 4/4 captives is going to be causing issues for me. If they just go land and then exhaust the captives, have a 4/4 out. Don't really have any good blocks on the 4/4. I mean, I guess I have 5 fine blocks because they would tap out here. Yeah, they kill 1 dragonfly swarm. They'll be tapped out, so I know I can just octopus form and they just kill 1 swarm. And that's it. Alright, kill 1 swarm. I'll draw a card off the one they kill because there's a lesson engrave. Cool. Ah, I drew that earlier. I'm gonna get the extra damage from this one. Make that a 0/0. I don't hate that. Well, probably better to do it in their upkeep, even though I hit a little less hard. Just to soak up some of their mana here. Could have double quench up if I don't play this next dragonfly swarm. Tap 1 of their mana. I feel like tapping their mana is extra valuable with specifically quenches in hand. Land for turn. Messenger Hawk. Alright, that's gonna 2-for-1 us, whether it resolves or whether it doesn't resolve. So, might as well make it not resolve and also buff my swarms. These are a little bit of floody draws here, but they're down to 11, so that could be okay. Our opponent's got infinite mana as well. There's the big reach creature. The quench mana anyway. Got the firebending lesson to finish it off. Sure. Hit for a chunk of damage and clear it out of here. I think we do this pre-damage to hit for 1 more. Unless they have octopus form, that'd be pretty good here. Cool, they're down to 4. 1 swing from our remaining dragonfly swarm from lethal. Waterbending lessons the draw, it's a good one. I'll play the land for that. So that I can dump a bunch of mana into that and also have plenty up for whatever I draw into. I could draw like the 3 cards and then play another land, play another spell. Play this pre-combat to buff the swarm. If they have any random life gain or anything, and also potentially draw into counters. Okay. Those are not counters. I can say that much. Land, land, land are the 3 draws. So here's going to be removal on swarm to live. Hopefully at least it destroys it. Okay. Doesn't destroy it, so I don't draw the card. Put them to 2. Yep, put them to 2. We got removal for their next blockers, so if they just play like 1 really big blocker, we shuffle it away and win. There's the white source. 4, they're splashed in bomb rare. Aang at the crossroads, which is 2 blockers off the 1 spell. Because bombs do be bombing. Shuffle and the Aang attack both, put them to 1. Could draw the Dragonfly Swarm right now, but I need to deal with the Aang either way, so I'm just going to deal with the Aang here. They could airbend their Aang in response to replay him next turn. Okay, they don't have the airbending. They go to 1. Nope, they got the removal, so they clear out both of these. But with 1 for 1 removal each time. Trade the 1/3 into the 3/1, trade the removal spell into the 1/3. Looks good. They sack a land, draw a card. Play their land for turn and drop a 2/3 on the ground. No flying there. Draw a discard to get rid of this island to draw the next card below Dragonfly Swarm next turn. It's a Fortune Teller, that's a good one. Here's the Dragonfly Swarm. Here's the Fortune Teller. Here's the Clue Crack. And what do we have here? Teo. We don't have the mana for him yet, though. But he's also a one-shot kill. There's Toph. There's more blockers on the ground, but no reach still. They pass through. Play this pre-combat, so if they play a removal spell that's like destroy an attacking creature, I'll get the attack trigger and still be able to draw and discard a card. There is a white removal spell that specifically destroys an attacking creature. So just in case it's that. It is not that, it's the 2 creatures deal damage to another one. Fair enough, we'll still draw the card here. Off of this death. Which finds us a Quench, which is very bad here. Activate Agnakella. I'll still keep the Quench, but I think it's doing it. If they don't have a counter spell, we just Lightning Strike face. I think if they had a counter, they would have countered Teo, so I'm just going to do it. Okay. I was considering waiting to hold up Quench and have Quench Lightning Strike, but I'm like, what is Quench going to do at this point, honestly? We just go for it now before they draw for turn. Alright. That is 2-1, heading into game 4. Alright, game 4, triple mountain, triple blue spell. We do have a Lightning Strike, but I do not think that is enough to lean on. We're going to have to mull to 6 here. Mono blue hand this time, so similar issues, but a little easier. I think we need to ditch the Serpent. It's getting cost reduced by 1 in the current hand, so still a 6 mana play. Yeah, we keep the cheap stuff. Make sure we have stuff to do early. Drop the Fortune Teller so I have a clue up when I'm holding up my Quenches. I mean, their Pox Bearers gets to resolve, but their Pox Bearers isn't even good against the Fortune Teller. I'll Quench a Healer. We gotta use these quenches early. Early-ish. Before a top deck war, at least. Missed a land draw there, that's a little rough. Vengeful Villagers, that is also more than quenchable. Beautiful draw. Could hit the mountain here and then hold up Lightning Strike, so we crack the clue first. Okay. I did say beautiful draw, but I've got a double red card in this hand. We really need the mountains, not the islands. The second island draw there was really, really bad. And the first one was not good either. Scry 2 to the top, that is a very bad sign. Holy mana base, what is going on? We are a 9-8 split, and this game started with a triple mountain hand we had to mulligan. So it started with the mono red mold into mono blue. The mono blue hand drew 2 extra islands in a row. And that feels fatal to me. Yep. Wow. All right. That's it. Simple as that. Super bad draws. I mean, if we timed the quenches differently, we may have had another 1 or 2 turns, but we were not accomplishing anything there, and that is 2-2 heading to game 5. Alright. I can actually cast my spells this time. So we'll snap keep that one. Green-red, there's Rebellious Captives to start them off. These draws are so weird. This is my second triple Dragonfly Swarm game, and much like the first triple Dragonfly Swarm game, there's no instants or sorceries in the triple Dragonfly Swarm hand. There we go, there's the quench. But it's so awkward, the draws. Weirdly awkward. Sure, I'll quench that. Just wanting to quench early to get stuff engraved for Dragonfly Swarm to actually have a stat line. I can drop one of these and crack a clue. Bold move. Sadly, I don't have the second quench this time around. That's an even bolder move. If I have any instant or sorcery, that's not a great attack. But I don't. Oh, you're late, buddy. You're late. I can actually just have to hold off on blocks here. If we draw like a Sokka's Haiku, that would be absolutely beautiful. Put another Lesson in the Grave, mill 3, draw a card. Be our best way to try to actually get some buffs on the Dragonfly Swarms. Octopus form plus it'll quench it can get held up here. I think we're full speed ahead, honestly. Buff all of them off of the octopus form, put them to 9, and then swing lethal next turn. Firebending lesson kicked, pay the ward, get quenched, GG. brutal stuff for our opponent there. I mean, as I said when we had the opening hand, that was our second opening hand of like, here's all the swarms and none of the like quenches. Draw into 3 of the 4 quenches in a row. Just perfect draws there to get that race, get that really quick kill. Excellent top decks that really made up for the kind of awkward opener there. And if we're being fair, we drew so well that game, it probably makes up for drawing really poorly the game before with the mono-colored hand. So that'll balance it out. One game of really poor luck being an auto loss, and then really good luck being an auto win there. 3-2 heading into game 6. Another mono blue hand. I mean, I can keep mono blue more than I can keep mono red. This time I have Submersible to slow them down, Waterbending lesson to draw cards. I have no 2-mana plays, though. I don't have the early quench or anything like that. This still feels like a mulligan. And again, it's a 9-8 deck, so the average hand should have both colors. We should be able to mull into a 2-color hand. I mean, we saw that worked for us last time, but yeah, I'm going to take the mulligan. If this had like a quench in it, I think I'd keep it. If it was monocolored, but at least it had like the curve starting on 2, but it doesn't. Well, this is the monocolored curve starting on 2, but we have to start down a card for it. Oh, Lord. Draw a non-land as our first draw. I gotta say, the way this draft has played out, I'm very happy. I kept 17 lands in. Another black-white deck, and a non-land draw. Pass, crack a clue, or cast a quench here. Oh man, Abandoned Air Temple is disgusting here, because we can't interact with it in any way because it's a land. And so just for 5 mana every turn, they can put a +1/+1 counter on their entire board. They tap 4 of their other lands and tap the Air Temple. Good on that, we'll quench that. Land for turn, good draw. Play another Fortune Teller, have the double block up. I really want to just be filtering through these clues quickly. First time flyer wouldn't be a bad play there either. Just have the 2/3 blocker for the 2/2. Okay. This can get them to spend their removal or combat trick on a much weaker creature though. On a 1/3 that already gave us value. They can't kill both of these with one spell. Oh, it's kill neither of them. That was good for us. They just kill a clue. Alright. Cute stuff from Aang. They definitely don't want to airbend a Fortune Teller, so that makes sense. We drop the first time flyer to block the Aang. Or I cast Waterbending lesson and do some digging here. I think I'm supposed to play the flyer. Threatening to have a quench up here, but realistically just cracking a clue again. Callous Inspector. Resolve that. Water Tribe Captain. Resolve that. And first time flyer holds Zang off if they don't have the 1 mana +2/+2. Crack the clue. And then here's where we have a nightmare now. Here's where they just start activating Air Temple every turn and I have no way to interact with it because it's just an incredible rare land. Yeah, we have to like find really explosive cards. We have to just Waterbending lesson into like our rares. Or our 1 rare. This is not that. It's not bad though. gonna go ahead and kill Aang before they have any mana to save him. With Captain or Air Temple. I think I'm fully on blocks at this point. Serpent of the Past flashed in should be really helpful. Maybe I should have discarded Teo, that way I could play the Fortune Teller for 2 and have the Serpent up for 4. Well, there's a Mythic Rare to win the top deck war. They get to cast a card for free out of the top 2 every single turn. Yeah, it's going to completely demolish me. At least I don't think they're attacking next turn here, so I can just go Fortune Teller, sack the clue. That is very bad for me. When did they gain 2? Oh, the healer. Makes sense. Oh my god, this is such an incredible spot for them because they can Planetarium for 1 and Air Temple every single turn. They can activate both. That is a really good combo. What are they casting for free here with Planetarium? Avatar Enthusiasts? Yeah, it's going to be quite big. Guess they do get to send the Water Tribe Captain in here as a 4/4. Yep. Yeah, we just need to hit like all of our flyers and just kill them in the sky somehow. They decided not to hit me for 4 here, which means they have some kind of instant speed effect in their hand. Could be removal on first time flyer. Firebending Lesson's not bad, but I don't have enough mana to make it really good. I would love to be able to cast this and it'll quench in the same turn, and I can't do that. It is enough damage to kill the captain even like a turn after this. I guess the captain's only 1 more power and toughness than the Avatar Enthusiast, so I could just Firebending Lesson the Avatar Enthusiast instead here. So that I can have all my other spells up. That feels super worth it. Because then I can actually Quench and Serpent of the Past here. I mean, Quench isn't really going to do anything, but like theoretically. But then the Serpent gets to kill something. I guess if I make them pay for a Quench, they don't have the mana for Abandoned Air Temple anymore. If they've played a land this turn, I don't think they've played a land this turn yet, though. I should have paid attention, because that's very relevant here. I guess because Quench isn't really going to work. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's not like Serpent's ever going to hit them, so just trading the 6/5 into the 5/5 Captain's already fine. Okay. Guess I'm just going to trade the Serpent off here to save Quench in case they have not already played land. But it looks like they haven't. Or it looks like they have already played the land, or they don't have one, so we could have done the Quench thing to keep off the Air Temple. So that's a bit of a punt there. Submersible. If they have a land in their hand to pay for the Quench on the Submersible, or on the Planetarium, that's sad. But either way, they have to spend 6 recasting this. Which is helpful. This may have actually ended up being very in our favor. That we didn't Quench yet. It all depends if they play a land before they play that Planetarium. Dang it. Let's say worst case scenario, at least they can't do the air temple and the planetarium. So here they're just going to go deserters and air temple. Okay, it's not like I can counter activated abilities. Fortunately, Momo is just too big for Teo. I can't even counter whatever they play off of the planetarium. It's super gross. Obsessive Pursuit. Get 1,000,000 clue tokens. Yep. Extra counters every combat as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting bombed into the nth dimension. We're not finding any of our dragonflies. And even if we did, now that they have Momo, it's irrelevant. I'm good there. I'm just going to move on to the next draft. That's Avatar The Last Airbender.exe there, really. Just got mega bombed out of this draft. Immensely disappointing. I think this deck was absolutely incredible, but some rough matchups will pull us out of it. 3-3 is all that we get with this deck. Genuinely think this is one of the best decks that we drafted the entire set. But we just ran into the grinded out bomb rares of Planetarium and the Air Temple there, so that game was unwinnable. We had terrible mana for another one of our losses. I don't remember the loss in the middle of there. Maybe we could have played that game out better and been 4-2 here, but it feels like at least 2 of these losses were just completely predetermined, kind of irrelevant how we play it. That has been my experience a bit in the set. Certainly a little disappointing for this deck. Very, very cool stuff, but we don't get to play it too long because Avatar being Avatar, 3-3 it's gonna be today. But that is gonna end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send us more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.